Good morning from Universal Studios. We've got a lot to do today. We're gonna go to Universal Studios Florida as well as Islands of Adventure. Actually, I think we're gonna do it in the opposite order that I just said, but that's okay because we need to talk about something really important, answer a question, will I fit? Yes, will I fit on some of the attractions that have very restricted seating? It's a big question, especially for people with larger frames who are visiting Universal Studios. So we're gonna get into it today. I'm gonna let you know my thoughts and yeah, we'll talk more about it once we get in. But first we gotta get in, so let's make our way to Islands of Adventure. All right, let the adventure begin, and it's gonna be an adventure today, I'll tell you what. So if you've considered doing a Universal vacation before you started looking into it, you're really interested in thrill rides, you may have heard people talking about how restrictive the ride vehicles are here at Universal Studios. And the restrictive seats on some of the attractions at this park have left some guests feeling less than epic. Now, in all fairness, Universal does have information about which attractions might be a problem for guests with larger frames, both on the Universal Studios website as well as on the app. But it's also kind of difficult to understand what that means, especially when you hear the accounts of some people who are saying that they weren't able to fit and their body kind of looks like your body. So today we're gonna go to all of the attractions that are listed as not necessarily right for larger framed people, try out the test seats, and see what we will and maybe won't be able to ride. There are 8 of these attractions between the 2 parks, so we have quite the day ahead of us, but we're gonna have fun either way. But we've got a few things to talk about before we actually get the day started. So let's make our way to our first attraction while we discuss. Now, according to Universal Studios Rider Safety and Accessibility Guide, almost every one of the attractions that we're going to test the test seats for today won't accommodate guests with a waist that's 40 inches or larger, which very well may be me. Now, I took my measurements before I left the house today, and my waist comes in just at that 40-inch mark. But I'm really curious as to know if that's the only factor that's going to prevent people from riding, especially because they describe guests who might not fit in these attraction vehicles as guests with larger frames. I also got a good set of hips on me, and they measure in at 51 inches at their biggest point. And so we'll have to see what this looks like when we try those test seats. But I want to give you an idea of what I look like top to bottom. I know you usually just see this much of me, so let me brave the cold for a second and pull off my jacket so that you can get an idea of what I look like. Also, before we move on, let me be very clear that we have zero tolerance for body shaming here. Any negative commentary about anyone's body, whether you're talking about me or just hypothetical people in the comments, immediately gonna get you blocked, just so that we're on the same page. We're doing this for informative purposes to make sure that everyone can have a great time and knows what to expect. If you can't be here for that, take a hike. But with that, I think it's time to make our way to our first attraction. Real quick though, I think we should take a look at what attractions we're gonna be checking out today. So we've got Dr. Doom's Fearfall, Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, Jurassic World Velocicoaster, Revenge of the Mummy, and the Incredible Hulk Coaster. There's also Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey as well. So I think the first attraction we're gonna run into is Hagrid's Magical Creature Motorbike Adventure. As you can see, the line is wrapped all around this area. In fact, it's also far behind me as well. So I'm gonna see if I can find the test seat for this real quick. Okay, here it is. It is behind the chain. So I'm gonna ask a team member, see if I can go test it real quick. All right, so we're gonna jump in here.
You're good.
Good to go? Awesome.
Yeah, you're good on the sidecar.
All right, so I was good on the sidecar, and that seemed like the tighter of the 2 seats. It did have something that went up between your legs as well. It was a little bit snug around my hips and definitely wasn't snug around my waist, so I think we're good to go for Hagrid's. Now, one thing that I do want to mention about the test seat over there, like I said, it was behind chains. I did need to ask a team member in order to get over there and to try the seat. I don't know if that's going to be the case for all of the test seats today. We're just going to have to wait and find out. Anyway, the next one is actually right up here. And it looks like we have the test seat right here out front. It's not behind any chains or anything like that, so we should be able to just give it a shot. All right, let's try this. Also, the way that this works is there's going to be a little light over here that's going to change color and it's going to go green as long as you are locked in and good to go. So you just pull this down and that's where it's good. So if you're doing the test seat, that's what you gotta keep an eye out for. Okay, very interesting. So we're trying to make our way around the park and it looks like we're being stopped here right now for an unknown reason, but I think I can get to Velocicoaster by going this way. So we're gonna give that a shot. Also, real quick, I did go on Forbidden Journey because I figured it's a 15-minute wait, why not? I had to put all of my stuff in a locker and I did take a picture of that because the free lockers here at Universal are kind of small. Everything fits, so wasn't that big of a deal. That was another concern that I had, but again, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, we're at Velocicoaster now. Just had to take kind of a side route to get here. Let's find the test seat. But the test seat isn't in an obvious location over here, but it does look like there's some bushes over there with a sign, so I think that that's where we want to be. Yep, here it is, right behind these bushes. Let's see if we can sneak back there. Get on this test seat and see if we can make it work for us. Also, check this. You can test the size of the locker too. We're good. Now I do appreciate that this test seat is behind shrubs because as you can see, it's right in everyone's view. And there are a lot of people out there who want to be able to try the test seat and wiggle around in it without having to be on full display for all of the other guests who are at the park. So I really do appreciate that that's the situation over by Velocicoaster, especially because the placement of the test seat isn't really the most ideal, while also being perfect. I feel like it's so tough because on one hand, you want that test seat to be as close to the front of the attraction as it can be so that it's conveniently located, but you don't want it to be right in full display of everyone. So it's a balancing act and I think we need to recognize that. Okay, so we have one more attraction that we need to try the test seat for here at Islands of Adventure. I think it's only one more attraction. Then we're gonna make our way back over to Universal Studios. I'm thinking that we might take the train to get there because there is a train from Harry Potter Land to Harry Potter Land, so that could be fun. We'll have to see what the wait time is because it isn't that far of a walk, so we could also just walk there too. I will say one thing that I found really interesting that I overheard on my way over to this spot is that apparently guest relations here at Islands of Adventure doesn't open up until 10 a.m. So that means if you had early entry, you can get in at 8, the park opens to day guests at 9, and then you have to wait another hour in order for guest relations to open if you have anything that needs to be resolved. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in a comment down below, but I just figured I'd share that little tidbit. We're making our way into the superhero area now, and I just remembered that there's 2 attractions we have to do a test seat for. So Dr. Doom's Fearfall and the Incredible Hulk coaster. Let's see if we can find the test seat for Dr. Doom's Fearfall. We do have the test seat right here, kind of out in front of the attraction queue, so let's hop on. All right, this one was really difficult to show you. There's nowhere to prop my camera up so that you could actually see me testing the seat, but I did. Now, of all the test seats that we tried out here today, this one is probably the tightest fit, not only in the hips, like I mentioned a second ago, but also in order to get it to go green. Now, I did make it, but just barely. And so that means that's one in the maybe column, at least so far today. So the last attraction that we needed to test here at Islands of Adventure was the Incredible Hulk. Unfortunately, it's down and they won't allow us in the queue area in order to try the seat. So, have to save that for another day. For now, we're gonna make our way to Hogsmeade and jump on the Harry Potter train. Check this out though.
Actually gets me. Wow.
Breakfast sandwich from Cinnabon. Huh, that looks really good. Anyway, let's make our way back to Seuss Landing and then we'll head on over to Universal Studios. All right, we've made our way to Hogsmeade Station. So let's get on and make our way over to Universal Studios. Now, my understanding is that this is an attraction, of course. You get to enjoy a little bit of story on this ride, but it's also a mode of transportation that's gonna get you to the other park. I don't think it saves you any time. It might save you a little bit of energy, though this queue, very long and winding, so definitely working for your opportunity to ride here, but we're gonna do it anyway. why not? We're also leading the way, you and I, because there's a little bit of confusion up at the top since there's only so many people riding right now. No one was sure that this was the direction we were supposed to go. So we're just doing it. We'll see what happens. I think we're good though. Definitely more walking than it would have been to just walk to Universal Studios, for the record. There it goes. I guess we'll have to catch the next one.
When we're going upside down.
Made it to Universal Studios Florida. Now here we've got a few different attractions to test out, including Escape from Gringotts, which I don't think I mentioned when I first listed all the attractions. It's a little hard to keep track of all of them, but we're still doing all of it today, so in we go. Actually, I'm gonna tuck away in this dark corner to show you something real quick before we move on. So this is the Universal Studios app. You'll see we have Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts 35-minute wait. If we scroll down to details, you'll see requirements and restrictions. So this is a minimum height of 42 inches. If we click that, you'll see more information, including the physical requirements and that there is a test seat available. Here it does say guests whose waistline is at least 40 inches or greater may not be accommodated by this ride. That's what you want to look for in the Universal Studios app. Now, of course, like I said, more information will be at the link in the description down below, including all of the details about the attraction, especially if you have some concerns about riding attractions when it comes to motion sickness or anything else you could be concerned about, honestly. But here we are at the entrance of Gringotts, or the Gringotts attraction, and right here is the test seat. We're gonna jump in real quick. It looks like a pretty standard seat. Of course, I have my bag on me, but let's see. My bag is round, and we're good. All right, now that the Harry Potter attractions are out of the way, it's time to go to Revenge of the Mummy. I hear so many people say so many good things about Revenge of the Mummy. It seems like it's a classic attraction here. Not an opening day attraction, but definitely a classic. All right, I see a really tall Pharaoh. Where did he go? Oh, there he is. So that means we're here at Revenge of the Mummy. Now, I don't see the test seats. Oh, there it is. Let's go check it out. So this is what it looks like. It is just off of the entrance and near the lockers, so let's sit down. It's kind of tight on the hips, but we're good. Plenty of room on this one too. And you know what? I say we ride this one. Why not? Let's put our stuff in a locker and let's get on. All right, hold on. We're changing course here. It went from a 20-minute wait to a 65-minute wait. We're moving on. Now, the last attraction we need to test out is Rip Ride Rocket. Now, I'm not sure if it's going to be open because it's getting kind of windy, but I will take a look in the app here in a second. But I was just talking to Russ about this the other day because this roller coaster, like, you can stand kind of inside the track and it goes around you. How cool is that? Now, I just took a look at the app and it doesn't look like there's a wait time available, so we'll have to see what the situation is when we go over there. Maybe the test seat's available, maybe it's not, but man, wouldn't it be cool if someone just came blasting out here right now? Okay, so I was just sitting here eating an apple, waiting to see if Rip Ride Rocket was going. I don't think it is. We're still gonna make our way over there and see if we can get on the test seat. Fingers crossed, but I'm not holding my breath. Also, the Incredible Hulk is still delayed, which is Universal's way of saying that the attraction is down. So we might not be able to try out that test seat today either, but we're gonna keep our eye on it. Maybe we'll pop back over there and see if we can get on. Just as a bit of a recap, we should be good to go for every attraction so far. The only one that I have questions about is Dr. Doom's Free Fall, because that one was really hard to get to go green just by myself. However, I have heard some cast members talking to other people who've been trying the test seats just like me and saying that if you can get it to go green at all, you should be good. Now, whether or not that's actually the case is yet to be seen. I know that there are some people who do good on the test seat and then they go on the attraction and they have a little bit of trouble. So I think it's important to keep that in mind, especially if you're concerned about this, and maybe manage your expectations, especially if you're going in and you want to ride these attractions. I will say, I also think that it's important to keep in mind that wardrobe can play a role too. If you're wearing some bulky clothes or if you have some stuff in your pockets, that might be the extra little bit of space that you need in order to make this work. I always recommend wearing stuff that's not bulky, especially if you're concerned about fitting in a ride vehicle. For me, that usually means leggings, or if I'm going to be wearing a sweatshirt, something that I can pull up so that it doesn't take up any extra space in the actual restraint. But of course, let me know your thoughts thoughts and what you do in order to make all of this work by leaving a comment. All right, I think we've been hanging out on this stoop long enough. Let's make our way over to Rip Ride Rocket. All right, it looks like I was right. Rip Ride Rocket is down and there are team members who are blocking the queue. So we won't be able to go over there and test that test seat today, but we will, don't you worry. I've also popped back in the app to see if Hulk was up, and that is still delayed as well, which is without a doubt thanks to wind. I don't know if you can hear it. You can probably see the palm trees. It's a really windy day today, and of course, since these coasters are outdoors, that plays a role in whether or not they can operate. But I think that's gonna do it for our little adventure today and checking all these test seats. But yeah, I hope you had a good time and that this gave you an idea of what to expect if you're gonna be coming here. I know it's so hard to see, and it's always difficult because all of our bodies are different, right? So what works for me might not necessarily work for you, even though your measurements might be similar. Nonetheless, I still wanted to take you on this little adventure with me and show you that it's totally fine to try the test seats. I know that there are a lot of people who feel very self-conscious about this, and I hope that this gave you a little bit of peace of mind that some are a little bit tucked away and showed you that there's nothing to be ashamed of. Try the test seat, and I'll tell you what, you're not alone. Of course, I didn't film other guests who were using the test seat or trying the test seat, but there were plenty of them today. So you certainly won't be the only person trying the test seats here at Universal Studios or at Islands of Adventure. You know, it's always weird. They're both the same name, but not kind of, you know, it is what it is. But for now, I'm off. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you enjoyed spending the day. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this and subscribe so you don't miss any of our other adventures. We've got so many more coming soon, and I'm looking forward to you joining me on those. Until then, bye.
Thanks, pal.